Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another installment of Flyer. Gonna Flyer episode 75. We got a good one for you guys this week. Flyers 2-1-1 this week. I think that's what I actually predicted now that I think about it. Not I didn't get the games right, but I got the record right. But 2-1-1 week. Annihilated by the Rangers, because why not? And they beat the Caps, beat the Wild on a back-to-back, and then a heartbreaking shootout loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're going to go over last week's games, give our recap on that. Owen Tippett's hot streak. Does it change the long-term picture of where things look on the wing position? And maybe will they change their mind on who to send out? Because it seemed like he was a likely candidate at the end of the season. Now, maybe things slowly start to change a little bit. We'll see. My opinion kind of hasn't changed, and we'll see what everyone else has. And then loss to Columbus, heartbreaking loss. Now 6 points out of a playoff spot as we record this. Need to hop 3 teams. Is that the final nail in the coffin of the Flyers season, or is there still hope for this team? Joining me, as always, are my 2 gracious co-hosts, starting with the man to my top right. You know him, you love him, Mr. Eric Martino. Eric, how you doing today, bud?
Not too bad, not too bad. It was a better week than I expected for the Flyers, so I guess it's good? Question mark?
I don't know. Yeah, they're right in no man's land right now. Pick 14. Yeah. All right. Just like we all wanted.
Of course.
And then joining me to my bottom right-hand corner, he is the seasoned veteran from the Flyers nitty-gritty. You know him, love him, Mr. Jamey Bascow. Jamey, how you doing today, bud?
Aloha mahalo. Doing pretty good. Man. You know what? Thank God for Dan Vladar.
Man, no kidding. He's the only reason why this
rising star, man. Eric hit a home run with that guy, man. I'll tell you, man.
I got upgraded. It's probably a grand slam now, the way he's been playing. He's been everything and then some. If Tortorella had Dan Vladar in 23-24, that Flyers team makes the playoffs. No question about it.
I wouldn't just say makes the playoffs. I think they'd actually make a legitimate run. Because, to be honest with you, they could score with the best of them. They just, like they didn't have the goaltending at all. I'd even say, even the back end needed some work, but it looked like that they were starting to find their groove. And then it was just like, from there, the goaltending had to rely on Sam Ersson a lot.
Yeah, he got ran into the ground, and then they had no reliable backup. Cal Peterson was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who else they played after. Didn't they? I don't remember. There was another backup they used for a short amount of time. Didn't they acquire someone via trade that year or free agent or through waivers? I don't remember who it was, but they had another goalie they used outside of Peterson who was just as bad, if I remember correctly. But
yeah,
blanking on who it was. But anyway, let's get right into this. Flyers this week, 2-1-1 week. Lost to the Rangers, as stated. Got annihilated, actually. 6-2, I want to say it was. And H-Cuff scored, as positive. Played a pretty good game against Capitals for Rick Tocchet hockey standards, at least. 4-1 win there. 3-2 shootout win of the Wild. And then in what may have been the most boring overtime I've ever seen in my life, only Rick Tocchet could do such. 2-1 overtime shootout loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. That one really hurt in terms of the standings. Jamey, let me start with you this week. What'd you think of the week?
Horrible. I don't care about the 2-1-1. Horrible. I predicted 1-3 anyway. So they did better than what I expected. But it's not. The fact of the matter is, it's not that they lose, it's how they lose that is so infuriating, you know what I mean, and stuff. Like, it looked like they didn't even care to be out there against the Rangers at all. Like, that was just, I'm going to be honest, that was one of the worst losses. You already know, both you guys, how we're talking in the, the chat that we have. Mm-hmm. That was one of the worst losses in the past decade. It's got to be up there. To me, it's the worst loss. You got blown away. You got obliterated by a team that was openly tanking. They were down 6-1 at one point. To me, they took their foot off the gas pedal and was just okay with being up 6-1. They probably could have shellacked them and won 11-2. And the thing about it was like, what was up with Rick Tocchet that night? I don't know if he fell asleep or something. You get Dan Vladar out of there. He shouldn't have been in there past the first period. You know when he has it, when he doesn't. And it's not an indictment to him, because he's honestly one of the reasons why the Flyers are even in this position today, to even sort of be on the playoff bubble, I'd say. Hats off to Dan Vladar. He's played phenomenally. I don't bash him for that game, because he's going to have a game like that. I expect him. That was one of those games that he shouldn't have been in there, for 2 periods of play. I actually thought that was a bit of disrespect to keep him in there and keep getting shellacked when the goalie doesn't have it. You know what I mean? And it's not just him. It was the people in front of him as well, just looked flat-footed and stuff. Aside from, like you said, Mafi Miskov, and I think Denver Barkey had Denver Barkey played it? No, he got scratched that night, right? Or did he get scratched?
I believe so. You remember you telling me that.
So
it was isn't that the game he came back in? I thought he was scratched the game before.
Oh, okay, that's right. And I actually thought he played all right, but I don't know. And then you go on and they beat a Caps team at home that they struggle with at home. The Caps have their number at home, so I was sort of surprised by that. And then they somehow find a way to beat Minnesota. I was very shocked by that. I didn't even have them, getting a point, against Minnesota. Minnesota's been on a tear. But ever since, we talked about this before, since Minnesota has lost to the Flyers, I think they're about to lose their 4th straight. I mean, they're getting blown out to the Leafs 3-0. And then you get that loss, last night. And it infuriates me because Rick Tocchet said it was a playoff game before the game. And I'm watching, and everyone's watching, and I'm watching over. I'm like, man, they were really playing conservative hockey here. It was like they weren't even winning they were tied 1-1, and it was like, you played to tie to send the game to overtime or a shootout to at least get a point. I guess they wanted to go to a shootout in some way, because the Flyers have been on fire, been on a tear. What are they, 8-3 this year in a shootout or something that nature?
8-4 now, but yes, 8-3 going into it.
8-4.
So I mean, like, man, I don't know what it was, and that's why I blame the loss on Tocchet. It was because of the conservative hockey. The power play is just abysmal. It's been terrible, and just shoot the puck on net. Like, fluky things happen. It's just like, you don't have to have the perfect shot. I understand they're looking for a perfect shot on a power play. They don't really have that quarterback from the power play, aside from, like, Mil-Andre did nice last night, scoring, had that goal, off the power play. But I don't know. And it was just, I don't know. I mean, Mil-Andre the night before they play, against the Wild, he had that goal. Sorry, they got the games confused there. But I don't know, man. I just don't like to see a brand of hockey like playing safe, and that's what that reminded me last night. It was just a safe team, and it came back to bite them in the end, and they eventually lost 2-1 in the shootout.
You're going to be sharing a lot of my thoughts, but I'm going to hold my thoughts until after Mr. Eric Martino speaks, because you hit a lot of very good points on that, Jamey, because it is disgusting what we're watching out there. Eric, give me your little breakdown of the week.
Yeah, Rangers game was a mess. Like, something like Jamey, like, and I think we even discussed it last week on Flyer, that I expected, I know you guys, I think Alex, you did too, that Urson was going to start versus the Rangers, right? Because you figure Vladar had played 4 straight up to before the Rangers game, and we all saw it. Like, he looked a little shaky. That was it against Pittsburgh, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, the game before the Rangers. So we're like, okay, like, like, you look at a guy and you're like, okay, I think he needs a rest. Like, let's rest him up for against the Rangers. Let's put Urson against, like, what, the last place team in the East, probably like 4th overall or whatever they are, like, in the league last, like, from last. You would assume, like, Urson would get that start, and no, like, it was Vladar, and, like, Vladar had one of his rare, like, really bad games. But, like, look, it's not like the team in front of him was really helping. I was actually surprised because we were recording Pap that night while the game was going on, so I wasn't really paying too much attention. I was actually surprised that the Flyers actually got 34 shots in that game. I don't know how the fuck they managed.
It's going to be a personal record. It doesn't feel like it. They probably just realized, we can't play conservative anymore. We're getting our asses fucking kicked.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, how the hell did they have 34 shots in this game? Like, holy fuck. Then like the Washington game again. Like, I think the start of the game, they look. I kept on saying on the all season, like I feel like I'm calling saying this, but like lifeless. They seem like, and I don't know if this is. It's because they're I don't know if they're being told to like just play conservative and whatever. So like, I don't know honestly, because sometimes you just look at them, you're like, what the fuck's going on, you know? And then TK gets fucking belted by Tom Wilson, and then all of a sudden it's like a fucking switch goes off. It's like a fucking switch just went off on the Flyers. And,
it's like, one of our best players just died. All right, time to play hockey.
And then, holy fuck, like, from that point on, honest to God, I put this on Twitter, honest to God, the way they played from that point till the end of the game, if that's the way the Flyers would play every single game, I get, like, you can't play that in every game, but, like, give me 8 out of 10 games like that, they're a playoff team. They're honest to God a playoff team. They were making passes. They were entering the zone. They were making plays. They were like, holy shit. How do you go from looking so lifeless to like looking like world beaters? I don't get it. So anyway, so that was fine. The Minnesota game, I thought Minnesota did like kind of outplay us. Like, even if you look at like I know it's not like whatever, but like the deserve to win meter on Money Puck, like I think the Flyers were like 28% or something. But whatever. Like, look, Minnesota played well, but we didn't play bad either. But look, we ended up getting the win. The Columbus game, man, like again, like I thought we started off well. I thought like the first 6-7 minutes we played really well. Then all of a sudden they went to sleep again. The second period was fucking boring, like put you to sleep. And even at one point, Scott Hartnell was even saying, he goes, I don't know, I think they're playing some kind of like defensive prevent hockey or whatever the hell he said. And that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like they're playing just not to lose, and it's the second period. Like, come on, guys, like let's attack, let's do something, you know? It's like, and then like now you're giving Columbus life. Like they're playing well. Like luckily, like Vladar had a couple big saves. Like also like they hit the post a few times. Also Columbus. So, but like you play like I don't know. That's why I don't understand. Is this coaching? Like how can you go from like looking like world beaters one game then to like the dullest fucking team in the world? I don't get it. I just don't understand. Like it doesn't make sense to me. So. And you know, like special teams.
Fair, their world beater form doesn't come out too often, though.
No, but you see it sometimes when they want to play, man. They play like it doesn't make. And then it's like they revert back, and then it's like, oh, okay, no, I don't know if they're getting it. Then they get a speech.
They got talking
where it's like, hey guys, we can't take all these risks, and we can't play like this. Step back. Like, come on, like, you know, usually, and this is something I was thinking about like the other day. I'm like, you know, you have these rebuilding teams like in the past, like Anaheim in the past, like when they were still like not Anaheim now, but like Anaheim like 2-3 years ago, you know, they're just kind of still rebuilding, and like Chicago, whatever. And it's like run and gun. You know, if we're gonna lose, fine, we're gonna lose, but at least, you know, we're gonna be fun. We're gonna be fun to watch. It's like we're just pure definition of just mid boring. Like I don't know. So at special teams, man, look, this week we went 1-14 on the power play. 1-14. The penalty kill, like again, like I think what is it before this week? I think it was again like 4 straight games where we allowed a power play goal. So then like the next 3 Rangers, Washington, Minnesota, we allowed a power play goal also. So I don't know, I think that makes 7 or something. But then Columbus we didn't, so at least, but they only got 1 opportunity. So but the Rangers, like we went 1 for 4 on the PK against the Rangers. Like, that's fucking terrible.
25% PK. You're gonna win a lot of games doing that.
Yeah.
So you know what? Like, just yes, we technically we had a winning record this week, But you know what? At the end of the day, you're like, how? Honest to God, sometimes I watch the games and then I look at the stats. I'm like, how the fuck did we have a winning record this week? So yeah, just a really, really weird week this week.
You know, gentlemen, I'm gonna be blunt. I started to get a little bit of hope Saturday. I'm not gonna lie. I slowly started drinking the Hoperade. I watched the 2 games. Listen, I'm not gonna hand wash it and act like this brand of hockey is good. The Washington game was actually a decent game to watch. It was, that they played. They were making passes. I think Eric said it very well. They were making passes. They were hitting their stride. They were putting the puck in the net. They were finding ways to be energetic and get opportunities. I mean, mind you, it took 25 minutes and TK's skull getting rearranged. But when that happened, they at least started finding their game a little. All 4 games this week, I believe. No, actually, no, not the Wild game, but 3 out of 4 games this week, they followed their MO all year, allowing the first goal. Wild game, they didn't. But the other 3 games, as usual, allow the first goal. Now, 2 out of the 3, they fought back in. Rangers game, we're not going to talk about. That game was a fucking mess. His team didn't show up. They weren't ready to go. They needed that game, and they put on one of their worst efforts of the year. Outside of maybe the Utah game, I don't think there was a much worse effort than that game. I got to say, though, when I look at this team and where they're at right now, let me put it this way. The way you are sending this team out and the way they're playing hockey, this cannot be the way you run a rebuilding team. You can't play over conservative, prevent defense, play for overtime, play for a shootout type of bullshit. You know what that is? Cowardly. That's pussyfoot cowardly hockey. You're not going to win any games like that. And not only that, teams aren't going to respect you doing that shit. It's insufferable how we have to watch this night in and night out. You're a rebuilding team. This team, as we have said multiple times before, objective should be trying to work on their craft and get better as a collective whole. Rick Tocchet wants to win games. He comes out and say against Columbus, "Oh yeah, I'm treating this like a playoff game. This is a big game. This is like a playoff game." Owen Tippett said, "We're on a mission." Let me explain the breakdown and quick summary of said mission. You played 65 minutes of hockey, had 5 power plays, and had 19 shots on net. 19 in 65 minutes of hockey in 5 fucking power plays. That is pathetic. How you had at one point 5 minutes and 58 seconds consecutively of power play time. 5:58. Nothing. Denver Barkey's brains got rearranged in the first period. And a hit, when I first saw it, was bullshit on. But then when I watched it, kind of turned into it. So the hit itself it was a penalty. I think they unfortunately did make the right call as much as I would have liked the major. Not like they would have did anything with it, but seriously. So then you come out and see this team, you think, oh, one of their comrades goes down. They got a big power play. This is a real chance to stand up your team, send a message, score a goal, and punch back. You look lifeless. Why is Noah Cates on the first power play? No disrespect to Noah Cates. Why is he on the first power play? Number 1. Number 2. Why is Sean Couturier on the power play in general? I don't care if it's the second unit. Why is he there? Why? What offense is Sean Couturier in 2026 going to generate? Nothing. Matvei Michkov, why isn't he on the first unit? We're starting to see him play better. The points aren't showing that much, but we're seeing much better play out of him. Why is he not on the first unit? Why are we doing that? Now, the minutes are getting better, but mind you, when you play fucking 23 overtime games for the year, they're going to be a little inflated. When you have 5 power plays, they're going to be a little inflated. I want to see what they are when there's 1 or 2 power plays, like a normal game. This brand of hockey is why I've been calling for Rick Tocchet's termination all year. You're a rebuilding team. How are you expecting to develop these guys constantly playing prevent defensive-orientated hockey? How are these guys going to be able to perform and take their next step offensively when you're playing dump and chase constantly? Rather go quality over quantity constantly, barely shooting the puck. What was the quote you said, Eric, that was damning, where he said something about blocking shots? I don't know who it was, or was it you, Jamey? Someone said a quote where mentioned a quote where he'd rather have a shot blocked or I'd rather not have a shot blocked and just don't take the shot at all.
Yeah, he said that back in December. Yeah, it was. He'd rather, just like you said, partially, like you said, he'd rather have them take a good shot to not get blocked or go the other way. So they might as well not shoot at all.
That's pathetic.
Hold on to the puck.
And you know, that is loser mentality. You're gonna listen, mistakes are gonna happen. Shots are gonna get blocked. It's part of the NHL. You have to fucking take that. If it means you shoot 60 shots attempts instead of fucking 35, and out of those 60, an extra 10 get blocked, so be it. That means more rubber's probably going to get to the net still. You've got to take more chances. You've got to be more offensively orientated. You've got to stop playing bitch hockey. You've got to stop looking at this thinking, oh, it's now time. We don't have to do anything. We're just going to play prevent defense for the last 15 minutes, play for overtime, play crappy boring. Rick Tocchet's the only fucking coach that can make overtime boring. That Columbus-Philly overtime was the most boring fucking hockey I've ever seen in my life for an overtime. There was one shot in that overtime. One. And I think it was Michkov's partial shot that he barely got on net. Maybe it was, I think Zegras did have a shot, but one shot. One shot. How do we expect to watch these type of games and think to ourselves that this is acceptable? How do we expect to watch and expect our young talent to develop offensively? Outside of maybe Jamey's Drysdale and to a lesser extent Owen Tippett, who can we say has developed offensively this year? I'm not giving Trevor Zegras because he was like that in his earlier years in Anaheim. He's kind of back to what he was, is where his point pace is right now. Who else has developed offensively? I don't want to hear Christian Dvorak because he's just playing with really good wingers now, so it's elevating his point total a little bit. So who's developed offensively? TK is about the same. Michkov has regressed. Cates is about the same. Brink was roughly about the same. And you're playing a boringer style of hockey. These guys should be taking bigger steps now as they get older, and they're being stagnant because you're playing this brand of hockey that puts you to fucking sleep. We're complaining about this, and they're on pace for about 90 points this year. That should be damning right there. If we were told at the beginning of the year this team was going to have a 90-point year, you'd think we'd be happy, right? This is all you need to know about this brand of hockey. It's insufferable to watch night in and night out. Overall, the week itself in the big picture was decent, but the way we're watching these games is borderline unwatchable. It really is. All right, I breathe out. Gentlemen, any final thoughts before we move on to next week's the next point?
Yeah, I think Rick Tocchet's the only coach in hockey that plays their fourth line in a must-win, game like that.
Final minute. Oh, I missed that. Good call.
Minute 30 seconds left. In regulation. Like, what is the fourth line doing out there? I've never seen in its type of game like that a 1-1 tie at that point in the third period. When I've never seen a coach play their fourth line. At that point, it was just mind-boggling. Like, really, what has the fourth line done all year? Much as zilch. Like that's what's mind-boggling. I don't understand why you don't play your most offensive-minded stars. Like, put Barkey, Michkov, and Zegras out there, together if you want, mix and match, or do something creative or something of that nature in that type of game, within the last minute and a half. No, What does Rick Tocchet do? He puts the fourth line out there.
It's prevent defense.
I knew right. That's why I blame the loss on him.
You're 100% right.
Like the not shooting part is infuriating. Playing your fourth line with a minute and a half left. I mean, playing this conservative style of game. Hey, let's just get a point. And in his presser wasn't any better. The way he was talking, he was like, "Oh, well, we got a point at least." You know,
how do you find that as a positive?
Hearing that, oh well, at least we got a point. Yes, and I'm not saying like the whole season's like his fault, you know, or whatever of that nature, you know. But like that particular game was definitely on Tocchet. That's the one I specifically blame on him.
Like, how does he find a positive out of that? You're playing against a team you need to get. If you want to have that hope for the playoffs that you're trying to sell to the fan base right now, you win that game, you're, I think, 5 points out of a playoff spot right now. Still, you wouldn't have gained anything, but you would have completely at least kept up with everyone. So you look at the big picture. If you won that game, even if Columbus did take a point, I would have preferred if they didn't. Yeah. But you win that game in regulation should be the mindset. You get 2 points back on a team you need to catch.
Yeah.
Now, you're playing for overtime. You're saying, hey, you can have a point as long as we can try to get the second. And you find a positive in getting one. This is why this fucking loser has got one legitimate playoff appearance in 10 years. This is why I shit on him. This is why he's had such a loser history mentality. People try to tell me he's a win coach now. What kind of win coach now has a 10% legit playoff appearance ratio? Like, what are you doing?
No, but no. Look,
the Senators won today too, 7-4, so they gained 2 more points. So they're now up on the Flyers by 3.
No, like already that look at the end of the day, like the playoffs. Already, just to make the playoffs, it's going to take a miracle, right? Columbus is one of the teams that you're chasing.
Yeah,
you can't afford Columbus even getting a point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's so. Why are you playing for overtime? Like already, you know that it's already gonna be super hard just to try and make it. So fucking go balls out. Just fuck it. Go for it. You can't make them get a point. Why are we playing safe to go to overtime to give Columbus a point? Go for 2. 2 points. You get 2, they get 0. That's what I like. You're not a contender right now. These are the games where you're like, fuck it. Who cares? Go. Like, do what you want. Go. Get me that 2 points in regulation. We lose. Who gives a fuck at this point? But let's try. Let's be a little more lively. Let's at least entertain. Let's do something. No, let's fucking sit back, let them come to us, wait for the opportunity, dump it in, one-man forecheck. Oh, we're too slow. We lose the forecheck, goes the other way, neutral zone. Like, it's like I can't. You know,
I'm going to say this. The front office, if they are going to try to talk us into keeping Tocchet next year, unfortunately, my guess it will happen.
Oh, he's not good.
They have to sit him down and say, you have to change your coaching style. This is not unacceptable. If you're going to fucking try to sell this guy for another year to this fan base, he has to become more aggressive next year. You want to talk about the players getting into shape and the player, and by players, you know who I'm referring to. But you want to talk about holding players accountable and getting players into shape. You need to work on your own shit this offseason. You need to work on fucking finding better schemes to generate more ways offensively. I don't give a fuck about the way you fucking coach defensively. I don't care. Because you know what? The power play is still dog shit. You're last in the league again. Congrats. After an 0-5 game. Yay. Is this power play worse than Rocky Thompson? It's debatable.
I think it is.
It's fucking debatable. How am I watching an even worse power play? I think it could get worse. I guess the issue before was entering the zone. When they got there, maybe they sometimes could generate something. Now they do enter the zones. It's like watching a bunch of slugs just hold the puck, bounce it around until it's a fucking turnover or a shot off the side of the net that gets cleared and kills another 20 seconds. Like, the quality of shots aren't even good. It's fucking shit, man. Oh. I'm just sick of this. He has to coach. If you're going to sell me on this dude, and I don't believe it's going to happen, that he's going to change his ways, but the front office needs to sit with him and say, Talk, got to pick it up offensively. We need more of an aggressive style of coaching. You coach like this again next year, you're out of here in December. That's what I would say if I was them. You got to change the way you coach here. We're not dealing with this much longer. Because Mitch Colvin Martone are too important to this organization. I do not want them fucking getting rotted away by Rick Tocchet. We already saw what's happening to Elias Pettersson. Don't want that to happen with our guy.
Well, that's why I said, like, I remember a few episodes ago, I said it, like, look, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know. But, like, go find, like, an offensive coordinator. Like, honest to God, like, go find somebody. Find a mind, whether he's in juniors, he's in the AHL, he's on another coaching staff. I don't know who the fuck it is. But go find someone who has an offensive mind, like a more forward-thinking guy, and get him as your assistant coach. I'm sorry. But I'm blanking on his name. The guy that's running our power play right now. The guy that came with Tocchet from
he's got a Russian name. I can't remember it either.
Sorry,
Say Yogi.
Yeah. Anyway, like, I'm sorry, buddy. Like, you're fucking worse than Rocky Thompson. Like, what the fuck? Like, honest to God, we didn't think it would get worse than Rocky Thompson. And not only that, but we added Zegras, and it's worse.
That should tell you all you need to know. How does a power play get worse adding a guy of that talent? And you have the...
So, like, look, I was just looking at, like...
That's great.
I was looking at the other power plays in the league. Like, Seattle's 15th. Like, come on, you tell me Seattle has that much more fucking talent than we do? Like, no.
They don't.
Like, Nashville's fucking 10th. Like, who's running their power plays? Whoever it is, if that's like, if there's some kind of guy, one of their assistant coaches is like some kind of forward, like, beautiful mind coach, I don't know. Fucking Comcast has fuck tons of money. Throw this guy a bag, make like a special title for him, hockey offensive coordinator, and fucking just do it. Hire somebody. Hire somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing.
Well, it's crazy because Danny Heatley's still part of the Flyers organization. So, and that's what's even crazier about this is like Heatley was supposed to work with the power play units this year, and stuff like that. Be more engaged in power play meetings and stuff. Danny Heatley was supposed to go to the forefront for real and to assist Yogi. So I don't know what's going on there, even if he is, to be honest with you.
They brought in John LeClaire and Patrick Sharp to help with this power play. And it's done nothing. It's done fucking nothing. Like, why don't we have one of them actually run the power play and not just work behind the scenes? How's that for an idea? Like, anything. Get your Josh McDaniels of the NHL. Josh McDaniels is the ultimate offensive coordinator in the NFL. You need to find the Josh McDaniels of the NHL. That's what you need. Ultimate offensive coordinator, as Eric said. All right, let's move on to our next topic. We can bash talk it all night, and honestly, I'd have fun with it, but we got to move on to other topics. Owen Tippett. He had a good week this week, and he's been on a bit of a run. He got the last game and didn't really do too much, but I'm going to push that one to the side because played great against Minnesota, had an absolutely beauty of a clap bomb to tie the game at 2 to eventually lead to the win. That was disrespectful, is what that was. I think he had a goal and an assist against Washington. He had he had an incredible game in that Washington game. That was probably the best game any player on the Flyers has had all season in an individual game.
Yeah.
It was a game Owen Tippett had against the Washington Capitals. He was everywhere. On a good run. He's up to 22 goals this year. Kind of feels like we're getting the Tippett of old. Probably on his 27, 28 goal pace. Outside shot at 30, but we know Tippett. He goes on these runs and then he cools off and goes missing for a bit. I made a comparison on Twitter. He's kind of like the JVR in terms of consistency of the team. Not with how he plays, but the way his runs go. Because JVR used to do the same. he'd go on these 2-week benders and then go missing on a milk carton for a month. Now, I don't know if Tippett's quite that extreme, but it's simple. But point being, Tippett looks like he has stepped up. He's looked good overall. He's back to kind of what he was 2 years ago. And it kind of leads to question. As we have said multiple times, the Flyers have a major decision to make at wing in the offseason. It does look like they're starting to push Zegras more at center, which is something we have called for on this show for quite some time, to run him down the middle, to see what you have. He's playing good games there. He's getting comfortable, and it's good to see. It is. So with that being said, if just for hypothetical scenario, Zegras stays down the middle, you still have 8 wingers that are going to be on this team next year. But realistically, 7 guys that can play in the top 6. Martone will be back. Up next year. Michkov's not going anywhere. You have Travis Konechny. You have Owen Tippett. Tyson Forster will be back. Nikita Grabankin's more on the bottom end, so we won't kind of count him as much. Denver Barkey and Alex Bum. So if we don't count Grabankin, that's 7. You have 7 guys to play 6 winger spots. So with that being said, someone's got to go. As we've said before, Wheel of Wingers episodes, we kind of made a major topic of that. We've all kind of been similar, thinking Tippett is likely the odd man out. So this isn't going to be exactly the same argument, but to a lesser extent. Do you think Tippett is still the lead guy out of here? Or do you guys think that maybe the Flyers might be thinking about this a little more, maybe potentially moving someone else? Eric, let me start with you this
time. Honestly, look, I think last time we touched on this subject, I had said I think it's going to depend on whoever the acquiring team, because I think one of these wingers is definitely gone for a center. That's 100%. This offseason, somebody's gone for a center. It's going to be one of the wingers. From what it sounds like, Michkov, Martone untouchable, so it's most probably going to be a Forrester or a Tippett.
Yeah.
This is where, I think that's it. It's gonna end up where it's gonna be up to the discretion of the team. What do they prefer? The thing is with Tippett he brings the speed that he brings. It really helps. I'm sorry, but it's we don't have another guy like Tippett. Because honestly, look, Mishkov's not a burner. Mishkov's not a burner. Martone's not a burner. No. Forster, if he stays, is not a burner. Konechny's got some wheels. Konechny's fine. Zegras can move, but look, he's at center right now, and that's what.
Barkey's got some speed too.
Barkey does have some speed, but Barkey can skate. He's all fine. But and even Bump's not really a burner either.
No, he's not. He is not.
So this is where it's fuck. And you see, the thing with Tippett though is because look, if you look at his numbers, we're all raving about Tippett. His numbers are pretty much what they've been the past, not last year. Last year was a down year, but they're close to what they've been the 2 years before that. Yeah. Roughly just under 30 goals, probably 27, 28, hovering around that 50-point mark. Points-wise, he's pretty much the same. The difference between Tippett this year and in the past, he's playing way more physical. He looks more remember, you would see games where where's Tippett? Was Tippett playing today? Even if he's not scoring, he's noticeable. And that's the difference with Tippett. Really, the biggest difference with Tippett this year is it's all the little things that he's doing. He's hitting, he's one of the top hitters on this team. It's crazy, but holy shit, I have him in one of my fantasy leagues. I'm he's one. I keep him not because of his points. I keep him because of his hits. He's one of my big hitters. So, and then but then on the other hand, you have someone like Tyson Forster, right? Where Forster, I think, is gonna be the better goal scorer. Okay, he had 10 goals in the first 21 games. That's a 39 goal pace, but he doesn't get that many points. That's the thing, right? So he was on pace for I can't remember. Hold on, I would have to do some quick math right now because he was on he was on pace for a few points times 82. Let's go. He was also on pace for around 50, 51 points. But he was gonna have more goals. And he brings that defensive acumen with him. So he's younger than Tippett. So maybe he could pick up on the assists because he only had 3 assists on the year. So I don't know. It's tough because if you ask me who you want to keep, honestly, you can make a case for both. And something that's actually kind of funny that I think it was Bill Matz I said, and I had to go check. I'm like, well, this can't be right. You know that Owen Tippett has more shorthanded goals than he has power play goals this year?
Well, I mean, with how shitty the power play is, I'm actually not that surprised now I think about it. Because he has, I think, one power play goal this year and 2 shorties?
He has 2 power play goals and he has 3 shorthanded goals because he scored a shorthanded goal this week, right?
I hate our power play.
It was against Minnesota.
Yeah. So you're like, oh my God, how do you have more shorthanded goals than
I hate our power play?
Oh, so yeah, so tough to that. That's why I think the decision is probably not going to be in Danny Bear's hands. I think it's going to come down to probably the acquiring team and who they prefer. But what's also a little bit concerning, right, is Forster's injury history. He's been missing a lot of time lately, and you know what? Tippett's also very healthy. Tippett barely misses any time. So I don't know. Honestly, ask me now, I can't really give you an answer because I don't know. Because like I said, I can make a case for both. So if it was up to me, honestly, I think I would just leave it up to the other team. Okay, you choose one. I'm not. You choose.
Interesting. Okay. So you're more of a pick between Forster and Tippett, whatever one you want more. Okay.
Yeah.
Jamey, how about you?
I mean, on one hand, I'd like to see Owen Tippett here because he is the one player that could change gears from 0 to 60. And he's very hard, like Eric was saying. He's about the only consistent forward that I can see bring in the zone. Well, bring the puck in the zone, sort of like Jake Voracek. That was one thing that Jake Voracek did well, with his time in Philly. When he had the puck, he was very hard to move off the puck. But he was one forward that could bring the zone. And that's what helped their power play. With Jake Voracek coming in, you win the faceoff, give the puck to Jake. He gets the puck in the zone, settles it down, passes back up, and here they're set up in their umbrella. That's one thing about the Flyers this year. They don't have that guy. The only guy is Owen Tippett. So, yeah, they struggle to bring the puck in the zone. And finally, by the time they're eventually set up, you have 40, 50 seconds off the clock already, off the power play time. Now you're looking at 1 minute and 10 seconds left. That's part of the problem is when the puck goes the other way, they have a hard time generating, getting the puck in the zone. Owen Tippett's the guy that can. And that's what I don't understand why they don't give the puck to him more often on the power play because of that. He's one guy that could carry the puck inside the zone. When he gets it, he's very physical. But he could accelerate his speed and use the physical tenacity to try to make a play. There's not another player on the team that could do that. I mean, they have one developing, that's Denver Barkey, but his muscle mass just isn't there yet for that. Now, it will over time. I'm not concerned about that. He's got that dog. You know what I mean? You look at the game last night with Denver, sort of that reminds me, okay, they can get rid of Owen Tippett. Look at Denver getting obliterated, and stuff like that.
5'10", dude. He plays like he's 6'4".
To come down, draw that penalty on Severson, a 4-minute double minor. That's something that, reminds me of like Owen Tippett. That's what Owen Tippett could do. He could ruffle the feathers there, get under people's edges because he's got that physical tenacity. Plus, he's got, the offensive prowess, but it's so inconsistent. It's mind-boggling. I don't understand. You could be this good for 3 or 4 games and then not be heard of for 4 or 5. Because I didn't even notice him on the ice last night. I'm going to be honest with you. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't understand it, with him. Like, I don't think I've said this all week. I don't think he knows how good he can be. I think he talks himself out of a lot of things, and that's what bothers me. Now, it's enticing to other teams because they see Owen Tippett. They've scouted him. They got scouts everywhere, and stuff. And they're like, man, this guy, he's probably about the 10, 15 player in the league that could go 0 to 60 like that, engage and make a play. Like, it's crazy what he can do. It really is. When they say like Zegras and TK, like it's very rare to see a player like that. And that was what was enticing to get back in the Claude Giroux trade. Was Owen Tippett. I was like, okay, because I was a big fan of Owen Tippett. During his draft year and stuff like that. For the Flyers, so I was already familiar. So I was like, man, they got a solid player. This is what entices other team. Now, is Travis Konechny more enticing than Owen Tippett? I would say not so much. Although TK puts up points and goals and assists, but you're looking at it, there's untapped potential for Owen Tippett as opposed to Konechny. You're getting what you get in Travis Konechny. You know what I mean? You're getting a hard-nosed forward, who also, Eric, to that credit, takes a beating and will miss games, in large stretches there, and stuff like that, year after year because of the way his style of play is. He's got that gritty style and stuff. But I'd say it's more enticing for teams to bite at Owen Tippett. So unfortunately, on my behalf, I'd have to say Owen Tippett is the catastrophe, the one on the outs, looking in. And for that very reason, I think that I could understand now why teams have called about Owen Tippett's services, and stuff like that. I see it. I mean, you're seeing these past 3 or 4 games. Yeah, it's definitely understandably so why teams would make the call. Now, the Flyers, like you said, they're loaded on wing. They got Martone. One of Martone and Luchenko, or both, possibly both, will make the team next year. Definitely. So you got to free up even possibly another spot for Luchenko. I think they want to use him down the middle, but they could throw him at the wing, as well. So you got tons of wingers, and then you're about to sign Cole Knuble here. His season ended, so look for him to get signed by the Phantoms this week. So you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean things are looking up for the organization in terms of restocking the cupboard. Professionally, for their prospects. Now it's time to cut the dead weight, I'd say.
I agree with a lot of what both of you have to say. Jamey makes some good points, especially who knows what they have to do down the middle. Is maybe a Sean Couturier move potentially needed to get a guy like Luchenko here ready? I mean, sooner rather than later. I think Martone personally is going to be here before the season even ends. If honestly, I think he'll probably be here for the last 3-4 games a year, whatever it is, just to get his feet wet. And then Eric, I think you make some fair points too. Maybe one team likes one winger more than another, and it could be more enticing. For me, listen, you all know how I feel about Tyson Forster. That's my guy right there. I am the number one fan of the Tyson Forster fan club. I've said it more times than I need to. I will say, one of the things I want to mention about Tyson Forster, people are a bit worried about his health, and I think it's valid. Before this season, he's only missed 5 games in his last 2 years. So something to keep in note. He's been on the healthier side. Now, mind you, we did have that significant leg injury with the Phantoms. So that I could maybe get people a little nervous, I get. And now he's got this freak shoulder injury. But it's not like it's like a reoccurring injury to the same spot. I feel like it's just 2 freak injuries that happen at 2 different spots. It's not like Jamie Drysdale with his shoulder or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's one difference to look at Tyson Forster's injury history. Now, mind you, got to watch that shoulder now. If there's another injury to the shoulder, then I start to worry about it significantly. But with that being said, Tyson's already skating. I don't think he's back this year anyway, so that's besides the point. But he's already skating. He should have a healthy offseason. I expect him to be close to what he was last season. I mean, what he was before he went down. Tyson Forster looked he was going to easily shatter at least 30 goals this year. He was on a bender. He went down in early December. He was already at 10 goals, like at the very beginning of December. And who's to say he wouldn't have been at 20 by like mid-January by the way he was going? He may already be at 30 if he was still here. He looked like he was on pace to be this team's leading goal scorer this year. No one's outside of Michkov. No one's got a shot as good as him on this team. And he's got an elite two-way game. Me personally, I would do everything I could to keep a guy like that. He's in my, I know some of the argument is Martone does a lot of stuff he does, but I look at Martone more as a guy that can help more on the power play, be a big physical body. Tyson is too. And it's not bad to have 2 or 3 big physical wingers like that. The issue is with Tippett, as I've mentioned, as good as he's playing right now, he plays with speed and skill. He has a little bit of size, as you mentioned, Eric. He's laying the body a lot more this year, which is something that we have harped on, dating back even as far as last year. He's got a big frame, but he doesn't use it. Now he's starting to finally use it. He still is inconsistent. That's been the thing with Tippett is we know what's there, but he's consistently inconsistent. It's the connect me thing here, but here's the thing with connect me, he has an NMC. So you got to make him waive it. I don't know if he wants to. And it seems like the team doesn't want to move him either. It doesn't seem like the team wants to move anyone.
Yeah, that's
they said, oh, they're not actively looking to move Owen Tippett. Well, Forster is considered the number 3 defenseman. I mean, most important player on this roster. Well, connect me as an NMC. Who the fuck moves it? What are you going to do? Like, someone's got to go. And that makes me look into this deeper. Would they potentially consider moving one of Parkey or Bump? And maybe that's a big reason why they're up here right now, is to maybe showcase them a little bit to see if you can get a team to potentially bite on that. It is a possibility. It's a possibility I personally hadn't thought of until recently. I think Denver Parkey, as you mentioned, Jamey, he got that dog in him. He plays a lot bigger than his size indicates. What he did yesterday tells you all you need. He took a really nasty hit, chin slams against the boards, helmet went flying. I'm thinking, oh, he's concussed. He's gone for at least 2 weeks. This sucks. It's back a period later. God bless the kid. And he not only did he come back, he made an impact. Mind you, the team couldn't fucking do shit with the power play. But the point being, he made an impact. He drew a double minor with 2 separate cross checks. Good on the kid. That's awesome. You got in the kid's head too. That's a pest. You got Alex Pump. He's got 2 goals and 3 points in 5 games. Good on the kid. It seems like he's fitting like a glove. He's getting that feeling of Tyson Forster when he first came up. Tyson had 7 points in 8 games when he first got called up before getting sent back down to the Phantoms. So they got a decision to make. You can't play these kids on the 4th line. They're too damn talented for that. So me personally, if I have to pick, I'm going to kind of put percentages on it. I'm going to put Tippett at about 40%. I'm going to put a 40% chance it's Tippett, 30% chance it's Barkey, 20% it's Forster, 10% it's TK, in that order. I think there is a real possibility they're trying to showcase these kids to maybe dangle them out to a team. And teams see shit like that, what Barkey did yesterday. I do still think it's ultimately Tippett. But I'm not as confident as I once was that it's going to be Tippett that's moved. That's what I'm saying. I would keep an eye on other avenues. And as you mentioned, Eric, maybe a team has more of an interest in a different winger, aka maybe like a Forster, that is willing to give significantly more compared to a Tippett that makes you have to consider that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot of different avenues you got to look down. But that's my thought. Anything else you guys want to add on before we move on to our next point?
Well, I just want to say just quick, also like just touching on Forster a little bit, because he only played 21 games. In those 21 games, he did have 3 power play goals. And the power play was like actually a little decent.
They missed him
at the beginning of the season. So I think also that was losing Forster was a massive loss for the power play also.
Massive.
So it's another thing Danny's gonna have to consider. Like, I'm sorry, dude, Tippett has 2 fucking goals on the ball. He's played 66 games, man. Like fucking Forster had 3 and he played 21. So you know, just saying.
Something to watch. Something to watch. Yeah, PowerPoint. Another great point. All right. So let's move on. So obviously, Flyers went 2-1-1 this week, as we mentioned earlier in the show. As things stand right now, I'm going to just pull up the standings real quick, just give a quick breakdown of everything. We're recording this. It's currently 10:07 p.m. We usually record this in the morning. We're doing an actually evening podcast recording this week because of a little bit of scheduling conflicts. But besides the point, let's just give you a more updated standings outlook as we get into this. So I'm not going to count Carolina or Buffalo or even Tampa for that matter. Those three teams are going to make it. So for the teams that are like kind of on the bubble, Montreal is the first team there. They're at 82 points, so they're in the Atlantic. Pittsburgh and the Isles are both at 81, 66, and 67 games played respectively. Bruins and Detroit are each at 80. Bruins have played 66 games. Detroit 67. Detroit is free falling, boys. We got to keep an eye on them. Yzerman might lose his job if this keeps up. Then Columbus 66 points, 79. Ottawa won again today, 66 games, 77 points. Then there's you, 66 games, 74 points. So not only are they 6 points back, they don't have tiebreakers over anyone because this team just loves going to overtime so damn much. So with that being said, I'll start with you, Jamey. Is last night's game the official nail in the coffin of the Philadelphia Flyers season, or do you think there is still a slim chance in this?
No, I think it's my personal opinion. I wish I could say it differently, but no, I say it's done. I mean, I had it done even with the winning streak that they were on against the Caps and the Minnesota Wild. It was how they were winning solely off of, in my personal opinion, goaltending alone, and you just can't do that. I just the way they have played their brand of hockey, I just don't think it resonates with this time of year. Playing safe, I think you got to go balls to the wall, and I just don't see that from this club, like that extra oomph. You know what I mean? To get the job done. Yeah, with that being, but no, I think it's over. The season's over. There are too many teams to jump anyway. I mean, when you're talking about 6 or 7 teams to jump them, and you don't have one tiebreaker against any of them, now that 6 becomes 8, so that's 4 games. That said team isn't going to lose. They might lose 3 or 4 in a row, but you're still right there, and you're like tied. And then they start to pick it up again, and then you go down and crumble. You know what I mean? Like, there's little room for error when you're jumping that many teams. The only team I've seen do it consistently are the Ottawa Senators. This is their time of year. This is where they start to shine. You know what I mean? And that's I don't know if that's Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux did that here in Philadelphia many of times. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know what it is, man. This time of year is Ottawa Senators time of year. So no, I say the nails in the
coffin. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of piggyback. I'll say this: the Detroit Red Wings are the last team in the playoffs right now. They're at 80 points in 67 games played. Did quick math real quick. They're on pace for 97.91 points right now in an 82 game stretch. We'll round it to 98 for argument's sake because that's closer to that. So that would mean the Flyers need to get to 99 plus get ahead of Columbus and Ottawa in the process as well. That would mean they need to get 25 points over their last 16 games out of a possible 32. That would mean they need a record of, say, 13-3-1. They're done. That was it. If you won that game last night in regulation against Columbus, you might be having a different argument. You're 5 points out still, 4 points out. 5 points out still. Columbus loses 2 points, so they're down to 77. Those two teams are actually within very close striking distance. You could have talked me into maybe, this team could maybe go on a nice little run of 12-4-1 or something like that. It'd be unlikely, but I'd still say it's possible. No, that was the final nail in the coffin. They're going to need some really crazy luck to get in now. They would have to go like, I don't think this team is capable of pulling off 13 of 17 anyway. But realistically, they'd need to pull off like 19, like 11 of 17. Maybe some of those games in OT that they lose are in OT. And then some of the teams above them just fucking tank. Detroit might tank. I really think Detroit's going to miss the playoffs right now. They're riddled with injuries. And this is it. As you say, Jamey, this is Ottawa's time to shine. This is Detroit's time to fucking shit their pants because they do it every single year. They did it 2 years ago. They did it last year. And they're probably going to do it again this year. And Stevie Y should and will get fired when that happens. So I think if you ask me, I think Columbus gets in over Detroit. I, in fact, think they leapfrog Pittsburgh. And I think it's going to be between Pittsburgh and Ottawa for that final playoff spot. I think Boston does get in. I think the other 5 teams that are in there right now gets in. And it's Columbus and Ottawa and Pittsburgh fighting for that final spot. But I think the Flyers are done and will be picking like 13th. Eric, how about you?
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking the exact same thing like you, Alex, man. For me, the 2 vulnerable teams are Pittsburgh and Detroit. Pittsburgh falling would make things a little, I don't want to even say a little easier, because not really, because then basically Columbus just gets back into the division, like in one of the top 3 in the division, and then like a team like Ottawa could overtake Detroit, and then we end up like just out of the playoffs, either in 9 or The one kind of saving grace is that we don't have the toughest schedule for the rest of the year. Like, it's not easy, but it's not like super tough. Like, look, we play Detroit.
I want to mention one thing. I apologize for interrupting, Eric. Flyers still haven't played Detroit yet.
Exactly.
So that's one thing to mention. Continue. I apologize.
No, but that's it. Exactly. We played them 3 times in our last 16 games. We got the Sharks in there. We, like another game against Columbus. So that's a 4-point game. Like we're playing Winnipeg. Winnipeg's terrible. Like, so look, I don't want to say there's 0 chance. I don't. I think they have a little bit of a fighting chance, but the special teams have to just get fucking better. Like, if they would just be like mid-20s, like I think, I would have to check where our PK is now, because it was always like around 15, 17 this season. I don't know if it dropped now. Like,
I'll take a look real quick for you.
But like our power play, man, like even if you'd be in the mid-20s, like that's maybe an extra 3 points, 4 points on the season, and we're then we'd be right there.
They're down to 21st now.
They're 20. Okay, but still, whatever. Like half decent.
Yeah.
But yeah. So honestly, in the end, I don't think they make it. But I think this week now is going to be huge.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Columbus, I don't think you're catching Columbus. Columbus is on fire right now. Well, not fire, but like they're 5-1-4 in their last 10. So 1 regulation loss. Like Ottawa's 7-1-2. And those are the 2 teams in front of you right now out of the playoffs. So, and we're 3rd, and we're saying there's maybe 2 teams that are going to fall out. So, I don't know. Honestly, again, like I said, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. But I can't say that it's impossible.
What percent chance would you give it, Eric?
5%. 5%, I think.
All right, you talked me in from 0 to 1. We're not dead, boys. 1%.
That's because of Vladar.
Yeah.
The only thing,
all right, Jamey, you talked me up even more. 2%.
With Ottawa,
by that. My 1% was the schedule. Vladar bumps it up to 2%.
Like again, but look, Ottawa, like I said, they're 7-1-2 in their last 10, and look, I've been on Ottawa's bandwagon. Like, I really like the Senators. I really like their team.
Yeah.
Their goaltending is fucking ass. Their goaltending this year is absolute ass. Where they are right now, I think they have the worst goaltending in the league.
It is. It's by far.
What they're just being able to be close to a playoff spot with the goaltending they're getting. Imagine they would have had league average. They'd be like comfortably in a spot right now. Comfortably.
They'd probably be second in the division, if we're being honest. They'd probably be ahead of Tampa.
Well, I don't know if they'd be ahead of Tampa, but they'd be ahead of Montreal. I think they'd be ahead of Montreal. So maybe their goaltending ends up like turning into a pumpkin again, and then like it really just sinks them. And so that's the one thing you got to hope for. That's the one thing, like that Ottawa is just like their goaltending really lets them down. Because even today, they won 7-4. They have to outscore their problems, So
and the New Leafs. Yeah. Or the Oilers of the East.
Yeah, they're Oilers of the East.
Except without McDavid.
So 5%. I think 5%. I give them 5% chance.
I'll go with 2. I'll go 2%. You know what's crazy? Tampa and Montreal are only 2 points away from each other right now. Tampa's kind of been struggling a little bit lately. They're 3-7 in the last 10. Anyone notice that? They've been on a bit of a run.
Shit, yeah. I haven't realized.
Yeah, that's why I said they'd be ahead of Tampa right now. I think that now Tampa might just be coasting right now, but they better be careful because they're only 5 points up on that final playoff spot. This is going to turn into a mess. There's only 2 teams I'd say that are truly comfortable right now, and that's Carolina and Buffalo. Who the fuck would have had the second team at the beginning of the year? But Jamey did. Actually, Jamey had them in the playoffs, so give him that one. All right, gentlemen, any final thoughts on the Flyers' current playoff hopes before we move on to next week's games?
Nah, that's it.
All right. Well, if those playoff hopes are to rise at all, they're going to have to probably sweep this upcoming 3-game West Coast Canada road trip because that's what they got next. Time for Flyers After Dark, baby. Next 3 games. Wednesday, at the Ducks. That's always fun. And boy, the Ducks have been in the news for all the wrong reasons lately. That'll be very interesting to see how that goes. So, Ducks Wednesday, then back-to-back at the Kings Thursday, Wednesday 10 p.m., then Thursday 10:30 p.m. I'm not going to be able to watch much of that Thursday.
Yeah.
Wednesday, maybe I could get half of it. Thursday, I'll maybe get a period, if that. And then Saturday, nice 4:00 game at the Sharks. So, how's the Western California road trip go, gentlemen? Jamey, let me start with you.
2-1. I say they lose to the Ducks and win the next 2. Yeah, I do. I know that back-to-back is brutal one. The Ducks, what they win today? I think
they beat Montreal 4-3. And guess who got the game winner?
Cutter.
Is it Cutter?
In my fantasy.
David Cutter. I'm gonna cut myself.
He's doing well for my fantasy. But yeah, I have them 2-1 this week.
Eric, how about you?
Same. I have them 2-1, but I have them beating Anaheim. They just seem to they just play Anaheim well, man. Like, I don't know. It's like, but now it's gonna be in Anaheim, so it might be a bit different. But still, I think they just get up for that game. Like, plus Gudas is not there, so
that's true.
The Flyers could run around a little, and I guess they're still Trouba, but whatever.
One goon's better than 2.
Yeah. So I think they beat Anaheim, but I think that game is going to take all their energy, so they're going to lose to LA, and then they're gonna beat San Jose in probably one of the boringest 2-1 games I've ever watched.
Honestly, you stole my thunder because that's my exact 3-game breakdown right there. I think they beat the Ducks 5-3. There's going to be a bit of it's going to be pretty much what you say. That game will be exciting. Every game against the Ducks seems like exciting, and it seems like they always play well against them. So I'm going to kind of piggyback off of you a bit. Then they're going to lose to the Kings 4-0. They're going to lose to the Kings 4-0. They're going to get their dicks kicked in. They're going to be completely spent. I don't know if the Kings play on that Wednesday. I'd have to look. I don't think it really matters, even if they do. No, they don't. So there you go. Kings will be well rested. I think they get waxed 4-0 against the Kings. And then the Sharks, nice. Low octane. Boring. 17 shots. 2-1 shootout win. When we watch another overtime where we skate back, we don't pressure. We just take our time. It's like golf. Golf on the Flyers channel network. Everyone just relax. Nothing exciting will happen. Celebrini might butt fuck our defense one play, but other than that, it'll be just relax. Rick Tocchet hockey. Experience Rick Tocchet hockey. Double shifting Grundstrom. 0 for 4 on the power play. 3 shots in the first period. Quality over quantity. Absolutely no energy whatsoever. Rick Tocchet hockey, baby. Woo! Gotta love it. All right. Yeah, that's my final thought. Any final thoughts before we wrap things up, Eric?
Yeah, just one last thing. Grabenkin. Fucking kid's a psycho, and I love it.
Yes.
that Washington game especially, and then there was another. Oh, was it Minnesota or Columbus where he was going at it again? I think Columbus.
I think it was a little bit of. I think he was doing it at the Rangers too. Is what the game he was really getting.
Oh man, the best was like I think it towards the end of the game against Washington. I think it was Duhaime. I think that punched him. Remember at one point there was like a bit of a scuffle, and then like at the end of the game, like going like I see you, bitch. He got it. Like,
He's your high-end fourth liner that you can slot a little higher in the lineup if need be. I like Brian.
I like. Look, I'm not fooling myself. Like I've said this even before. Like he's not a top 6 forward. He's
a high-end fourth liner, maybe third liner.
Exactly. He's a really good pest bottom 6 guy. Probably best suited on the fourth line on a more of a skilled fourth line. That can play up on the third in a pinch or whatever, but the guy is a shit disturber. He will drop the gloves if he has to drop the gloves. He can hit. Like he's basically the new Hathaway, basically. But I think, and he has more skill. I think he's more skilled than Hathaway ever was. Honestly, really, really love the kid. Really love the kid.
Agreed. My final thoughts for the week is shoot the puck, shoot the puck, shoot the puck. Oh, you know what? There's one player I got to give more props to. Jamey Drysdale continues to fucking continue his development, man. I'm telling you, I said this on Twitter. I don't remember if I've said it on the show or not. My bold prediction at this point next year, he will be considered the Flyers' unanimous best defenseman. I think he surpasses Travis Sanheim next year. And it's not a knock on Sanheim. It's how high I am on Jamey. So Drysdale, keep doing what you're doing. Love it. But with that being said, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Flyer Gonna Flyer. As always, if you like this content, like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you all for tuning in. Look forward to having you next week, and let's go Flyers.